He found out that his sister had ruined his life, and instead of revenge, he wants retribution. The family begs him to come back. He does not answer. Why? It started like any other day, but by the end of it, everything had changed. I never expected a simple message could turn my life upside down, but that's exactly what happened. It began with a text from my sister, Emily. Hey, just wanted to let you know the guest list is finalized, and we had to make some tough cuts. Hope you understand. Love you. I nearly laughed when I read those words. Tough cuts? Seriously? I wasn't some distant cousin or a forgotten acquaintance. I was her brother, and not just any brother. I had been there for her through every crisis, every heartbreak, every self-doubt. She was my sister, and I was her brother. Yet, somehow, I was excluded from one of the most important days of her life. My hands were shaking as I stared at the screen. I kept reading the message over and over again, like somehow the words would change. This had to be a mistake. So, I picked up my phone and called my mother. Her cheerful voice on the other, and only made my blood boil more. Hey, sweetheart, what's up? I didn't waste time with pleasantries. I just got a message from Emily. She says the guest list is finalized, and I'm not on it. There was a long pause, just enough for me to know that what I had suspected was true. She sighed, that familiar sigh of hers, the one that always made me feel like I was being unreasonable. Oh, honey, it's just a wedding. Don't make a big deal out of this. I felt a sharp, hot coil of anger tighten in my stomach. Are you serious? My voice came out surprisingly calm. Mom, I'm her brother. How am I not invited to my own sister's wedding? She made that clicking sound with her tongue, the one that always made me feel like I was throwing a tantrum. It's not personal. They had to keep the guest list small. And, honestly, they thought you wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind? The words hit me like a punch to the gut. The past few years, I had been there for Emily through everything. When she lost her job, I helped her move. When she went through a brutal breakup, I was the one to pick up the pieces. And now, suddenly, I wasn't important enough to be there for her on her wedding day. I laughed, but it wasn't a laugh at all. It was bitter. Right, I won't mind. I've only been her brother all this time. But sure, I'll just sit this one out. My mother's response was exactly what I expected. Stop being dramatic. It's just one day and you're overreacting. Overreacting? I wasn't sure whether to scream or cry. For years, I had let Emily walk all over me, always forgiving her when she forgot my birthday or only call when she needed something. But this was the final straw. Something inside me snapped. I wasn't going to let this slide. Not this time. If I wasn't good enough for her wedding, fine. But I sure as hell wasn't going to be there when they needed me. So, I hung up the phone without saying another word. I didn't know what to do with myself at first. I stood there, staring at the screen of my phone, numb with disbelief. And then it hit me. If I wasn't important enough to be included in her wedding, then I was going to be somewhere much better. I was going on a vacation. The more I thought about it, the angrier I became. I wasn't the kind of guy who blew up over little things. I had always been the one to forgive, to let things go. But not this time. Not anymore. So, I grabbed my laptop and started looking up flights. Emily could have her wedding without me. I was going to have the best damn vacation of my life. It took less than an hour to plan. All-inclusive resort in the Caribbean. Suite with an ocean view, spa services, private beach access. The works. And the best part? It wasn't just about getting away. It was a statement. When the wedding weekend arrived, I was already in the air, champagne in hand, flying first class to paradise. I made sure to post a picture of my extended legs and drink in hand with the caption, "Guess I got cut from the guest list, but I think I'll survive." The reactions were almost immediate. Some of my cousins sent laughing emojis. My aunt, the only rational one in the family, commented, "Good for you. Should have taken me with you." But the best part was my mother. She sent me 3 texts in a row. "Where are you? Are you seriously missing your sister's wedding over this? You're being petty." Petty? I wasn't being petty. I was making a stand. I responded with a picture of the beach. White sand, crystal blue water, the perfect view. Then I shut off my phone. I wasn't about to let them guilt me into returning. This time, for once, I wasn't putting my family first. I was putting myself first, and it felt incredible. I was expecting anything less than a storm back home. As I sipped on my second margarita, watching the sun dip below the horizon, I couldn't help but wonder how the family was handling it. Would they be sitting around, all dressed up for the wedding, wondering where I was? Would they be giving half-hearted apologies? Or worse, ignoring the whole thing and pretending nothing had happened? It didn't matter. For the first time in years, I wasn't thinking about them. I wasn't worrying about their drama, their expectations, their guilt trips. I was here and I was at peace. I woke up the next morning to a bunch of new messages, most of them from my mother, followed by my sister, my cousins, and even some of my aunts. I ignored the first few, letting the notifications pile up. But then one from Emily stood out, so I opened it. Please answer your phone. I need you. Please call me back. I laughed, a dry chuckle escaping my lips. So now I'm important? After all these years of being an afterthought, suddenly they needed me. I wasn't about to drop everything and rush to their side. Not this time. But curiosity got the better of me, and I opened the group chat with my cousins. The text bubbles were flying. Jake, bro, you dodged a bullet. Aunt Lisa, good for you. Should have taken me with you. Mom, call me. It's an emergency. I tapped on Jake's message first. What do you mean? His response came instantly. Dude, Emily's wedding is a disaster. She's having a meltdown. The groom walked out during the reception. He just left. He left her at the altar. My mom and Uncle Rob are fighting. Grandma's crying. It's a mess. I sat back in my chair, sipping my drink with a small, malicious grin creeping onto my face. The groom walked out. This was better than I could have imagined. The wedding that was supposed to go on without me was now falling apart in front of everyone. I scrolled through the messages. The more I read, the more I couldn't help but feel this twisted satisfaction. Good for you, sis. Let's see how you handle this without me. Another message popped up from Aunt Lisa. They're blaming you, you know. Everyone's blaming you. Mom says it's because you weren't there to keep Emily calm. She said if you were there, this wouldn't have happened. I shook my head. What? Now I'm some kind of miracle worker? I tapped out a quick reply to Lisa. Oh, you think so? I paused, letting my thumb hover over the screen for a moment. Well, maybe if they hadn't cut me out, things wouldn't be such a mess. I didn't send it. It wasn't worth it. I set the phone down, focusing back on the beautiful view. For the first time in a long time, I didn't care. They were the ones who had made me feel worthless for so long, and now they were scrambling without me. My vacation wasn't just about escaping. It was about proving to myself that I didn't need them. I wasn't their backup plan anymore. But just when I thought I could enjoy the rest of my week in peace, the texts started flooding in again. First, from my mom. Where are you? Please, we need to talk about this. Emily's a wreck. Please answer me. I felt the slightest pang of guilt, but quickly shrugged it off. I'd been in this position before, and nothing ever changed. They'd expect me to forgive and forget, and that was never going to happen again. Then came Emily's text. This time, she didn't even try to sound reasonable. I need you here. Please. I don't know what to do. I can't fix this without you. I didn't even bother to respond. Instead, I picked up my phone and snapped a picture of the sun setting behind the palm trees. The light was soft, the sky tinged with orange, the ocean glittering in the distance. It was perfect, starting my day stress-free. Hope everyone back home is doing okay. I posted it to my story with a smug little smile. I knew they'd see it. I knew they'd feel it. The rest of the day went by in a blur of beachside luxury. I spent my afternoon lounging by the pool, cocktail in hand, feeling the weight of all the years of sacrifice lifting from my shoulders. It wasn't just a vacation. It was my freedom. By the evening, I was completely in the zone, detached from the chaos of home. The sun was setting, and I was about to embark on a sunset cruise to cap off the day. I didn't even check my phone for hours, letting it rest in my bag, enjoying the cool ocean breeze and the feeling of truly being free. But of course, By the time I finally checked again, I saw the flood of missed calls. From my mom, from Emily, from Jake, from every single person in my family. I opened a message from my cousin Melissa. Okay, I know you're ignoring everyone, but please listen to this. You're going to love it. I raised an eyebrow and clicked open a message. What had happened now? I stared at Melissa's message for a moment, my thumb hovering over the screen. She was usually the level-headed one in the family, always able to see things for what they were. If she was telling me to hear something, it was worth listening to. Okay, I know you're ignoring everyone, but please listen to this. You're going to love it. I clicked on the text, then sat back in my chair, bracing myself. Melissa had a way of phrasing things that made you feel like you were about to hear something huge. Her voice came through in a voice note. Okay, so you know the whole mess at the wedding, right? She laughed a little, as if she were savoring something. Well, it gets better. After the groom walked out, Emily lost it. Like, completely lost it. She started throwing things at the wedding party, yelling, "Cry, you name it." I grinned. It was like some twisted, karmic payoff. Wait for it, though, she continued. Mom overheard Aunt Lisa telling everyone that the whole thing could have been avoided if you'd been there. Like, if you were at the wedding, you have kept Emily calm, talked some sense into groom, or whatever. And then, get this, Grandma started going off about how Emily brought this all on herself by not inviting you, and how she was ruining her own special day. I leaned back, letting out a short laugh. Oh, this is rich. Grandma even said, in front of everyone, that if Emily had treated her family better, maybe she wouldn't be standing there alone in her wedding dress. Can you believe that? I could practically hear Melissa's wicked grin through the phone. Oh, and then, here's the cherry on top. Mom called the groom's family, trying to get them to fix it. His mother just told her, "This is your problem now." I couldn't stop smiling. My sister had shut me out, thinking she could go on with her big day without me, and now it was all crashing down on her. They were trying to blame me for not being there to fix things, to keep the peace. My absence had become the reason the whole wedding was falling apart. Anyway, Melissa's voice broke through my thoughts. They all think you're the one who can fix things. Everyone's calling you. I'm pretty sure Mom's about to have a full-on meltdown. Emily, too. I sat there, my grin growing wider. The sense of satisfaction was almost overwhelming. I could almost hear my mom, begging for me to come back, asking me to fix everything like I always had. And Emily? She'd probably be crying, thinking that somehow I was the one who could make her wedding day perfect again. I typed back a quick response. I'm not interested in fixing anyone else's messes anymore. Let them deal with it. I set the phone down, feeling this weight lifting from my chest. I wasn't the fixer anymore. I wasn't the one to clean up after everyone's mistakes. If they wanted me to care, they had to show they cared first. I was done being the family's emotional punching bag. I closed my eyes and listened to the sounds of the ocean, the soft crashing of the waves against the shore. It was a strange, satisfying feeling, like I had finally freed myself from the chains I'd been carrying for years. But my phone buzzed again, pulling me out of my peace. I picked it up to find a text from Emily. "Please, just call me. I need you. I can't do this without you." It was the same plea I'd seen earlier, but this time something felt different. The desperation in her words hit me harder than I expected. Was I really just going to leave her hanging? I stared at the screen for a while. In the past, I would have called her back, tried to console her, somehow make everything okay. But I couldn't do that anymore. I wasn't the same person who would come running when they needed me. She had cut me out of her life, and now she had to deal with the consequences. I typed back, "I'm busy enjoying my life. Maybe you should focus on fixing your own." Then I blocked her number. The satisfaction of that was indescribable. It was a bold move, but one I felt I needed to make. Emily had taken me for granted, expecting me to always be there. But not anymore. This time, I was the one who walked away. I closed my phone and turned to face the setting sun. The deep orange and pink hues reflected across the water, a picture-perfect moment of peace. I wasn't going to be the one to pick up the pieces of their mess anymore. They had to learn to fix it on their own. I could already feel my family's pressure building back home. They'd be scrambling to get me to fix everything. But I wasn't going to fall for it this time. Not anymore. This vacation wasn't just a break from family drama. It was a new beginning. The thought of returning to that chaos felt almost suffocating. Why would I go back to a place where I was treated like an afterthought, where my presence only mattered when they needed something from me? I stood up, stretched, and grabbed my bag. There was a bar on the resort where they made the best mojitos, and tonight I was going to enjoy one, maybe even two. The world back home could fall apart. I didn't care. The only thing that mattered was this moment, and for the first time in a long time, it felt like mine. The next morning, I woke up to the same sense of calm. The ocean was still there, the sun still rose, and the world kept moving. But as I lay there in my plush bed, sipping the coffee I had ordered via room service, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was shifting inside me. My decision to break away from my family wasn't just a temporary escape. It was a permanent change, and it felt both terrifying and liberating. I had ignored all the missed calls and texts yesterday, letting the notifications pile up like they were nothing more than a nuisance. But today, curiosity gnawed at me. What had happened? Was the fallout as catastrophic as it sounded? Or had my absence already been forgotten, dismissed like everything else I had done for them? I checked my phone, fully expecting more of the same. Frantic pleas, guilt trips, and manipulative messages. What I didn't expect was a single voicemail from my cousin Jake. I hesitated before clicking on it, wondering if it was just another "you need to come back" message. But when I heard his voice, there was something different about it. "Hey, man," Jake began, his voice low and tense. "I know things have been, well, weird between us, but listen, what happened last night. You're not going to believe it. I'm not even sure I believe it. Emily, she's a wreck. And now, everyone's blaming you. Yeah, you heard me. It's all on you, man." I sat up, gripping the edge of the bed. "Blaming me?" Jake's voice grew more urgent. "I don't know what happened between you two, but she's saying that if you'd been there, none of this would have happened. Like you were supposed to fix everything. It's crazy, dude. You need to come back and set things straight. You're the only one who can." My heart thudded in my chest, but it wasn't with regret. It was frustration. Why was I still the one they thought could fix everything? I tossed my phone back onto the bed. I wasn't going back. Not this time. But as the morning passed and I relaxed by the pool, the situation started to settle in. I had done the right thing. I had taken control. My family needed me more than I needed them, and that was the truth they weren't going to like. As I sipped my drink, I allowed myself to think of the future. Maybe I'd even extend my vacation for another week. What would it feel like to not have to deal with their nonsense? To not be the one constantly picking up the pieces of their broken lives? But then, as if on cue, my phone buzzed again. This time it was Emily. I rolled my eyes, wondering what kind of desperate plea this would be. "Please, I need you to talk to Mom. She's losing it. Everyone's freaking out." I read the message twice, the irony of it hitting me like a ton of bricks. So now they wanted me to fix their mess? After everything, after they cut me out? My thumb hovered over the screen for a moment. I could call her. I could go back, fix everything, be the hero. They'd beg me for forgiveness. They'd apologize, and I'd once again slide into the role I had always played. The one they only seemed to care about when it suited them. But no, I wasn't doing it. I wasn't going back to that old cycle. I wasn't going to fix what was never meant to be fixed in the first place. I typed back quickly. "It's not my job to fix everything anymore. Let them sort out." I didn't think twice before hitting send. I turned my phone to silent and tossed it on the lounge chair beside me. For the first time in years, I felt free, unburdened. I didn't care what mess they had created. I didn't care if they all thought I was being petty. I was done playing their game. As the sun started to dip lower in the sky, I made my way to the resort's restaurant for dinner. I had been thinking of nothing but peace for so long that I hadn't realized how much I needed this moment of quiet. For once, I wasn't worried about someone else's expectations. I wasn't stressed about being there for everyone else. It was my time. I walked into the elegant dining room, where the ambient lighting cast a warm glow over the tables. The ocean view was perfect. I felt my shoulders drop as I sat down. This was what I deserved. A life free of guilt, free of constantly giving more than I ever received. Just as the waiter came over to take my order, my phone buzzed again. I glanced at the screen. It was a message from Melissa. "I think you're going to want to hear this." I frowned and opened the message. "So, Mom and Emily called the groom's family again. His mother said to tell your mom that they're washing their hands of it. Emily was crying the whole time. They're asking for your help again, man. Everyone's falling apart. You're their only hope." I shook my head, setting the phone down on the table. Their only hope? After everything. After I had walked away from the chaos. Now they were asking me for help again? I felt a strange mixture of satisfaction and disbelief. They couldn't even see it. I had become the villain in their eyes, simply for wanting peace. They had no idea how far gone they were. I leaned back in my chair, a smile tugging at my lips. They wanted me to fix things, but what they didn't understand was that their mess was beyond fixing, and I wasn't going to be the one to clean it up. I glanced at the sunset, feeling the warmth of it wash over me. This wasn't about revenge. This wasn't even about proving a point anymore. This was about me finally putting myself first, for once in my life, and no one could take that away from me. The waiter set my meal down in front of me, but I didn't look at it. I just kept staring at the horizon, knowing that whatever happened next, I had already won. The days passed in a haze of warm sunlight, mojitos, and peaceful solitude. Each morning, I woke up to a beautiful view, a life I had carved out for myself without the constant weight of my family's expectations hanging over me. They had tried to make me feel insignificant, but I wasn't going to let them anymore. I thought I was done. I thought I had made my peace. But then the texts started again. This time, they were from my mother, from Emily, from everyone in between. I ignored the first few, then the next batch, but as the evening approached, something shifted in me. The messages were more frantic now, more desperate. "Please, I need you. It's all falling apart. We don't know what to do without you. Emily, you have to come back. This family is falling apart without you. Don't you care? Mom, if you don't do something, she's going to lose everything. Jake, the guilt that had once weighed so heavily on me was gone, but it didn't stop the unease that crawled up my spine, like a lingering ghost of old habits. They needed me, or at least that's what they told themselves. They needed me to fix it, to be the mediator, the one who could clean up the mess. I'm done fixing everyone else's problems. I typed the message and stared at it for a moment. Was it really the end? Would I be okay with never speaking to them again? Would they finally realize how much I'd given, how much they had taken? I hit send, but even as I hit the button, I felt a flicker of doubt. I didn't know if it was because of the years of being their emotional caretaker or the fact that a small part of me still wanted their approval, but that part of me was fading. I wasn't going to fall back into old patterns. I closed my phone, tossed it on the chair beside me, and stood up. There was a new resolve in my chest, one I hadn't felt in years. I had spent so much time fighting for their approval, walking on eggshells to keep everyone happy. But not anymore. Not this time. I grabbed my bag and walked out to the beach. The sun was low, casting the water in a golden glow. The waves crashed softly on the shore, and for a moment, I just stood there, breathing it all in. I wasn't going back. I wasn't going to let them guilt me into it. Not after everything they had done. Not after they had shown me time and time again that I was the last person they'd think about unless they needed something. I took a deep breath, feeling the weight I had carried for so long finally lift from my shoulders. The last part of me that still cared was letting go. Suddenly, the phone buzzed again. It was Emily. This time, the message was different. There was no pleading, no desperation. "I get it. I messed up. I shouldn't have cut you out. I should have been a better sister. But you've made your point. I'm sorry. We're all sorry." I stared at the screen. Sorry. It wasn't enough. It wasn't about apologies anymore. It was about something deeper. Something I had finally realized. They would never change. I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. The weight that had been pressing down on my chest for so long was finally gone. I didn't need their approval. I didn't need their forgiveness. It was time to move on. I stood there for a long moment, watching the waves, the sky fading from gold to dark blue. The peace I had fought so hard to find was now mine. And for the first time in my life, I felt completely free.